We're going to paint a calla lily today, and I also want to use it as a practical demonstration of how masking fluid can be super helpful. We've been talking a ton about masking fluid recently, and I've shown you how to use it and how to kind of use it in some pattern type things, but I thought it would be really fun for you to see a more practical application of it. By the way, my current favorite masking fluid is by Mascapin, and it comes with this super fine tip applicator. I do want us to start out with a super simple sketch of the calla lily, but don't be scared of the sketch because it's basically just S lines and then one do-do-do and 2 straight lines. I'm gonna start with the little tail, and then I'm gonna sweep it down and around. On the other side of the tail, it's going to come up in that S line, and then I'm gonna have these 2 overlap. Then I'm going to make the little cone on the outside, bringing that in, straight down for the stem, and then that little inner doot-to-doo. The petals of this flower are going to have a lot of white on them, but there are lots of different shades of white, and the whitest that we're going to be able to achieve is the white of the paper. And in order to make sure that some of the edges of those petals that overlap are going to stay the whitest that they possibly can, I'm going to place a super thin line right along them. And then on the inside of the calla lily, that middle yellow part is super bright, but I'm going to want to use some darker colors on the inside to make sure it really feels like it's the inside. So I'm also going to mark off the doot-to-doo. And then we need to set that to the side to let it dry. Once your masking fluid is dry, it's time to grab your watercolors and give it a good spritz. Then I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to fill it with clean water, and on that big petal, I'm going to fill the entire thing up with water. On the inside part around that doot-to-doo, I'm going to drop in some purple colors, and I'm going to concentrate the darker purple colors kind of in the center of that area. On the bottom of that cone shape, I'm going to drop some green colors, and I'm going to bring that all the way down into the stem. And remember, all of the inside parts of the flower are wet, so everything should bleed together nicely. If you want to get a little fancy with it, you can drop some light gray colors along the overlapping areas or even along some of the edges. And then we need to set this to the side to let it dry because we don't want to heat up the masking fluid. It's officially dry, so it's time for me to remove the masking fluid. And I like to do that by taking a soft cotton cloth, putting my finger in it, and then gently rubbing the paper to remove it. And one thing I want you to notice when I remove this is how even though some of those areas are super light, look how much brighter the area we masked off is. It really helps you keep the white of the paper as the highlight. I really like how my flower looks, but I think it could stand out a lot more if I increase the contrast by adding in a dark background. And there are a couple keys to adding in a dark background with a lot of space. The first is to make sure you mix up enough color so that you're going to have easy access to it. And the second is to use a brush that holds a lot of water or one of your larger brushes because it'll help you move across the page quicker. And now that the masking fluid is off, I can grab some bright yellow and I can paint in that inner stamen or doot-to-doo, and it will really pop out from that middle background. And then it's time for my favorite part of this, which is taking the tape off. But in order to do that, I need to let it dry or make it dry. A side benefit of making this dry is that it loosens the adhesive and it makes it a lot easier to take off. I love this so much, and painting something that has really subtle color variations in it can be a real challenge to make certain areas stand out, and that's exactly what masking fluid is really good for. Yes, you could paint this very carefully to make sure that you didn't touch any of those areas, but masking fluid will do that work for you.